Let's talk about what's staying the same. So the test is still testing the same basic skills, right? Reading, writing, and math. So that's not changing. The scoring is remaining the same as well. So 1600 is your top score and 400 as your minimum score. And broadly speaking, the scores between your digital test and your current SAT should be equivalent. So somebody who gets, say, a 1540 on the digital test should get the same on the paper-based test and vice versa. Although that's not strictly guaranteed, and the College Board is still running tests and running experiments to make sure that those are going to be as close as possible. But they are not able to guarantee that. So take that as you will. I think realistically, some students may do 20, maybe even 30 or 40 points better on one version of the test or another. That's just my gut intuition about different aspects of the test, okay? What is changing? Well, the first most important thing to realize about this digital SAT is that it's adaptive, okay? And what that means is that the test gives you two modules. If you come down here to the bottom of the slide, you'll see kind of the flow chart. You'll have your first section of the test, and this is true of the reading and writing tests and the math tests. The reading and writing tests have been condensed into one test with two modules, and the same has happened for the math test. So what will happen is you'll be given a mixture of reading and writing questions, and those questions will be a mixture of easy, medium, and hard questions. Depending on how you do on that first kind of mixed module, you'll then proceed to one of three separate second modules, okay? So one will have easy questions, one will have medium questions, and one will have harder questions. So you're kind of being slotted down a particular path based on how you performed in the first module. That means for students shooting for a high score, it's important that you do really well in the first module, because otherwise you'll have no chance of getting that 1600 or even that 1500, right? You'll have been already kind of predestined for a mid-level or a low-level score. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. If you want practice with adaptive testing, you can look at graduate exams like the GRE and the GMAT. These are graduate school and business school exams, and they're also digital adaptive exams. They're a lot harder, okay, a lot harder than SAT, but it can still give you a good sense of how that adaptive flow works. And we'll talk more about those tests in just a moment, because they're going to be good practice for the new SAT in several ways. Now, one of the reasons that the College Board is rolling out this new SAT is because there were a lot of concerns about cheating, right? Especially with international forms, because you'd have, one form issued across tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of students, and that form would get copied and spread online, so there were leaks, and so that created issues. The advantage from the College Board's perspective for these digital tests is that each student will receive a unique test. So from what the College Board is doing is they're writing thousands of questions, and you'll kind of be assigned those questions randomly, so it'll be fairly unique. Is there a difference between scoring marks in Module 1 and Module 2? The score, so what's happening in Module 1 is that you're being slotted into a particular score range. So it's basically slotting you into, are you somebody at the top level, at the middle level, or at the bottom level, based on how you perform. So the real scoring is going to happen at the end of Module 2.